Here with head coach Anna Nimz as the Lady Demons get ready for Deja Vu week number whatever it is, because we're playing the same teams again this week as we played last week, and hoping for similar results. But first, Coach, take me through maybe this first half of the conference schedule. Like I said, we're halfway through now after playing our ninth game on Saturday. And you talked especially last week about the growth that you saw, maturity, IQ levels, that sort of stuff. But where is this team from game one of conference to now? Where have you seen that biggest jump in their play, in their performance, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I think going back to Corpus, taking on Corpus here, and then as far as playing Lamar this past Saturday, I would say our overall growth is genuine belief in ourselves and genuine belief in what we're trying to accomplish as a team, just the overall purpose and vision and what we're trying to do. I think the buy-in has continued to grow. You know, I think we're starting to see the fact that we've had a couple kids in the program now for almost 2 years, that being the longest. But they're starting to play a little bit better together. They're starting to believe in one another, and again, the biggest thing is they're starting to believe in themselves. And so I think that's just going to pay dividends as we continue to go through the season.
Defense was obviously huge last week. 48 points against, allowing 48 points against HCU, only 52 against Lamar. And you talked about the buy-in, and is that really kind of what it boiled down to? Because the guarding was better, the positioning, it just seemed like everything clicked a lot better in those two games.
I think the overall effort, the energy, and kind of the enthusiasm that they're playing with defense, I think they're starting to see a little bit of success in it, and we spent a lot of time here in the last couple of weeks solely on defense, and not just having a hands up, but having a hand in the face, and just being real detail oriented in every facet of it, and making sure that we get it before we move on. But I think the other side to that is also we did hold them to 48 and we held someone else to 52, but we were also held. And so it's getting them to understand that a great shooter could have a bad shooting night, and we can't control that. We can always control our defense, and a lot of times defense is going to come down to you first got to have heart and you got to have effort and a little bit of enthusiasm about what you're trying to do. And then obviously you got your angles and your game plan, but that we can control. And you could be a phenomenal shooter and have a bad night. We just can't hang our hats on stuff like that. So we held teams low scoring nights, but ourselves, we were held to low scoring nights. Typically we want to be trying to get up into the 70s, 75 with the amount of threes, especially that we're letting fly. But again, not all of them fall, and we've got to make sure we control the controllable.
Speaking of, that was in my list of questions for you this week. Great when you hold somebody under 50. I know you want to not be so close to that as well offensively. Is it really, and you mentioned confidence in the shot, all that sort of stuff, but is there anything more to it than just the confidence that they certainly seem to be building?
I mean, discipline and execution. Thankfully for 4 quarters we were able to play incredible defense, but here's where that maturity and that continued growth has to happen. We missed a lot of opportunities in the last 2 games to hit different positions on our court that are key to our offense, and sometimes we're taking ill-advised shots, maybe getting in too deep when we have people open. Really continuing to buy in to turning the ball, turning it side to side and playing within the context of the offense, especially when the quick shot's not happening for us. We got to be able to be more disciplined in that execution. And when we go on lulls, sometimes we're creating good looks, but you have to have them. If you create a wide open shot, we have to have them. And I know a kid, when you tell them that, they're not shooting it with the intent to miss, but that's just that when we're that much more focused and you guys have turned it side to side and multiple people have touched the ball, if you have an open shot at this level, we have to have it. And we're not connecting on a lot of our open shots. And then sometimes those lulls are coming because we're taking forced shots. But again, it's a process. Thankfully they're getting better on the defensive end, so that during those lulls we're, not falling behind necessarily. But we've got to be able to take the game and extend it and not go through so many ups and downs, or not such drastic downs. So that's definitely something we've got to progress moving forward.
We've talked about, of course, Candace and Giselle over the past couple of games with their performances, specifically Candace, Player of the Week, and all that sort of stuff. But want to get some more in-depth thoughts maybe on Joelle Johnson, especially the second halves that she's had the past couple of games.
Yep.
Really 6-person, 7-person off the bench kind of deal, but giving you good minutes and effective production, all the things that you want to see from somebody, especially late in the game.
Yeah, I think she's definitely been a tremendous second half player. Came in, kind of got a couple, got an early foul there at the beginning of the Lamar game. J Mac was able to go in, produce, really hold down the fort down there in the paint. But in the last 2 games, I believe Joe had 8 and 9 in the second half in the last 2 games, and they could not have been more clutch and more timely than any other 8 or 9 points scored in those games. So when she hits, she's got confidence in herself. She's a gamer in that sense. Once she hits one, she's going to have the confidence to go back to back to back, and that's what we were able to do. Any coach in the world, if a player hits 1, maybe 2, you're going to go back and see if you can't bleed that thing dry a little bit. So, but she's just done a nice job, and she's not a 5, and she stepped in and playing in that role for us and just done a really nice job. So, I'd love to have her for the first and the second half and go from 8 to 16. And I think she's capable of those kind of nights. And so it's just continuing to feed her the ball, continuing to, obviously she's playing big minutes, especially for us on that defensive end and pushing some big bodies out of the paint or sitting in the lap or what have you. But she's got to have it on both sides of the court. But she's doing a really good job. And again, those 8 and 9 points were the most timely clutch probably points of the whole game, minus Giselle's there down the stretch.
Right, yeah. And just her ability to be that dynamic player. Like I said, she has great footwork around the basket. She can step out, hit the 3, the long shot, and really can make the offense that much more explosive.
Yeah, 100%. She gives us an inside-out presence, her being both the inside and the out. But with her being more of a 4 in our offense, she's probably more of a true forward, has the ability to play inside out. And because she's a guard, she's quick off the bounce, 15 foot out and in. But she's got good foot skill down around the rim, so she's able to do a little back to the basket stuff. But just continuing to grow in a role that she wasn't necessarily recruited to do, but she's taken it on her shoulders and doing a really nice job.
So about this week, or I guess specifically Thursday, because I know you won't say anything about Lamar anyway on Saturday, because there is a game between now and then.
100%.
Obviously, it'll be about adjustments on both sides.
Yep.
We have a great defensive performance against them. They didn't maybe necessarily shoot the ball as well as they're used to on Thursday. So it really just comes down to who makes that initial adjustment and then the adjustment on that. Yeah,
and we're excited to definitely have pulled out the win here in Prather this past Thursday. But there's a lot of things that we've got to shore up to be able to go in to Sharp Gymnasium and do it again. HCU is a very good team. Coach Donna does a tremendous job. They're very bought into the program and the system that they run. They're going to be able to look at film and see their breakdowns. And although we won, we had a lot of breakdowns ourselves. I think defensively, effort-wise was there, but absolutely had some late rotations that we've got to shore up, make sure we're figuring it out, knowing where the shooters are, because I would agree. They're a great three-point shooting team and maybe just didn't have a great shooting night. Now, I will say I think our girls had tremendous pressure on the shooters. So that really changes those stats when you're able to get out and connect on that. But then offensively, we've got a lot of things we've got to fix. We can't continue to go on these lulls, and there's things that are wide open. And that's kind of that maturity, that discipline within the context of our offense, that when it's not falling and that quick shot's not happening, that we've got to have the discipline to turn it side to side. And if we don't do that, Thursday's game is going to be pretty tough.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you. Borkum.